Hi, my name is Cold Beer, and let's start with Sunset Overdrive. Boop. Boop. Here the Sunset City is under siege. A contaminated energy drink somehow has transformed most of the population into toxic mutants. For many it's the end of the world, but for you it's a dream come true. Your old boss? Dead? Your boring job? Gone? Yeah, sounds like a wet dream of every office worker. Although my advice would be to search for not boring job with a nice boss. I know, it's easier to tame a unicorn than that. Hell, what I'm talking about, it's easier to find a League of Legends match with non-toxic randoms. Anyway, here you'll transform the open world around you into your tactical playground by grinding, vaulting and wall running across the city while using devastating, unconventional arsenal. The game presents itself as an open world with no rules. Run along walls, leap off buildings and grind power lines and rails to destroy your foes from every angle. Review score is around 90%, so if you like what you see, you know what to do. Remember me. This is an action-adventure where you will take on the role of a former elite memory hunter with the ability to break into people's minds and steal or even alter their memories. What is more cyberpunk than that, huh? So the authorities, fearful of your knowledge and capabilities, arrested you and wiped your memory clean. After the escape from prison, you set out on a mission to recover your identity. This search for the past will lead you to being hunted by the very people that created this surveillance society. The action is set in a Paris of the future, so get ready for a very cool environment. People are saying that the game has an interesting story, and even if it's a bit older, graphics are still kinda decent. Styx, Master of Shadows. This is an infiltration game with RPG elements, taking place in a dark fantasy universe where you sneak, steal and assassinate your way through as Styx, 200 years old goblin. Here you will be completing various missions and at the same time avoiding detection. Sneak in the shadows, assassinate your targets in close combat, or, orchestrate accidents. RPG mechanics let you unlock new powerful skills, impressive special moves, and optimized equipment that will grant you spectacular powers such as invisibility, which is not meant for any creepy activities you just had in mind. You can also buy second part of the game. It is discounted as well, just be careful don't acquire the collection bundle that includes a DLC. You see, that DLC is just a weapon and an outfit, nothing more. Also, it's not cosmetics only. These items are quite powerful, so in a way it's a pay-to-win DLC. That is a blasphemy beyond any words. Resident Evil 4. 6 years have passed since the biological disaster in Raccoon City. You are one of the survivors of the incident, and you have been sent to rescue the president's kidnapped daughter. You track her to a secluded European village where there is something terribly wrong with the locals. They all put pineapple into potato salad. I'm kidding, of course, nothing that horrifying. Those people are just crazy. They want to kill you, mutilate your body and then do something else with it. What a nice place to be, So you will be living this nightmare and you will do your best trying to survive. People are saying that after playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, it was hard to hope that anything can be that level of awesomeness, but Resident Evil 4 does miracles. Players are saying that this remake is just excellent, and I can only agree, this game is awesome. Monster Hunter Rise. This is originally a Nintendo Switch game released back in 2021. Now we have this action-soaked game on Steam as well, and this version is obviously upgraded to meet our expectations. You will rise to the challenge and become a hunter, explore brand new maps and use a variety of weapons to take down fearsome monsters. That's what developers say, but I would change the word fearsome to airy-fairy, because those monsters are anything but fearsome. Although they are beautiful, I can't deny that. Each monster you hunt will provide materials that allow you to create new weapons and armor. You can also upgrade your existing gear so you can go back on the field and hunt even more airier and fairier monsters and earn even better rewards. Of course, all of that is presented in 4K resolution with ultra-wide monitor support and unlocked frame rate. They always run. This is a very nice 2D platformer where you will control a 3-armed mutant hunting for the most dangerous bounties in the galaxy. Its inhabitants have been swarmed by crime since the fall of the Empire. Being able to find anyone and anywhere has become a highly prized skill, and that, my friend, is the skill you possess. Some bounties are rewarded with money, others with valuable information that you can use to find the people who set you on this forsaken path. Having 3 arms lets you deal with more enemies at once and makes for a persuasive argument in any sky. shuffle. Use your third arm to perform targeted attacks and throws, manipulate the environment, destroy obstacles and wreck enemies. The game has very positive review score and people are saying that it is really fun, although it can be challenging for new players of the genre. Resident Evil Village. The story is set a few years after the events in Resident Evil 7. The all-new storyline begins when a man and his wife start living peacefully in a new location, free from their past nightmares and horrors. And just as they are building their new life together, then, you know, stuff happens. Otherwise, it would be a love story, not a fantasy story with horror elements. Village is one of the coolest games ever, with an atmosphere creepier than your neighbor-in-law.
Wait, what? That exists?
I don't know, I hope not. Also, this game is not a pure horror game as you can imagine. It's really not that scary, it's just creepy. And overwhelmingly positive reviews are here for a reason. This game is fantastic. Also, you can play the free demo version on Steam. The Medium. Concept is simple. Here you exist in the physical world and in the spirit plane, and you have to interact in both of those. You will have to use your psychic abilities to solve puzzles spanning both worlds, uncover deeply disturbing secrets and survive encounters with a maw, a monster born from an unspeakable tragedy. Sounds grim and a bit scary. Also, the whole concept reminds me of a Silent Hill, although in there you weren't in control of world switching. In a matter of fact, no sane person would ever go to that other world of Silent Hill by choice, so the Medium's concept is more like Shadow's Awakening, but in different genre. The world of the game has been invented and designed under the inspiration of Zdzislaw Beksinski's paintings, as almost every horror game these days. So Beksinski was a polished dystopian surrealist with a sad life story. He obviously wasn't a fan of airy fairy unicorn rainbows, but rather he saw a grim mirror of our reality and reflected his imagination on his disturbing but very cool paintings. Valfaris. Your metal detector should be beeping like hell right now because Valfaris is an amazing platformer game with a true metal soul. Reviews are very positive, so no catch here, you can buy this game even without a discount and you will be satisfied with what you get. And you get metal and a game 2 in 1, you know, like shampoo and conditioner or you and your virginity. If you like Valfaris, you can check out the game named Slain as well, made by the same developers. It also has a metal soul but slightly worse review score. People on Steam are talking that Valfaris is what they expected the new modern Contra game to be. Pure sci-fi power fantasy with an incredibly good soundtrack and game atmosphere. Spirit of the North. This is a single-player, third-person adventure game inspired by the mysterious, breathtaking landscapes of Iceland. The story takes root from various pieces of Nordic folklore. Here you play as an ordinary red fox whose story becomes entwined with the guardian of the Northern Lights, a magical spirit fox. As you journey over the mountains and under red-stained skies, you'll discover more about your companion and land left in ruin. The game is uniquely designed to have no dialogue or narration. You know, foxes do not talk, or do they? What does the fox say? I'm sorry, you probably forgot the song exists, but now it will be stuck again like an earworm in your head for a long time. You are welcome. So, Spirit of the North is an adventure game with strong puzzle elements, so be sure you like to use your IQ, if you have one. Neon Abyss. Here you will take control of one of the heroes traversing the dangerous underworld. You will be trying to find a way to remove the curse that made you immortal. If you get killed, you can go back to the Days End bar, where you prepare for the next playthrough. Over time, you will unlock new rooms offering previously unavailable items and challenges. People on Steam are saying that this game is like Enter the Gungeon, but actually fun. They say that this is a very nice 2D roguelike with a huge amount of different weapons, perks and companions. By the way, these companions can be earned by finding eggs, which have a chance to hatch if you clear a room. Each of them has unique skills and can increase in power if you can manage to keep them alive long enough. But let us be fair, the only thing you can keep alive long enough is that cactus on your windowsill. Pentiment. This game looks kinda dumb, but it's made by Obsidian Entertainment. Yeah, the same guys behind Pillars of Eternity, Fallout New Vegas, The Outer Worlds and many others. This is a narrative-driven historical game focusing on character development, with heavily stylized art and choice-driven storytelling in early 16th century Bavaria. You will play as Andreas Moller, a clever illustrator caught up in a series of murders in a secluded abbey over the course of 25 years. You will be responsible for conducting your own investigation to decide the fate of the community, but Each decision will have lasting consequences and draws you closer to the center of underlying conspiracy. People on Steam are saying that the writing is top quality, art style is amazing, and animations are great. And yeah, the game has an overwhelmingly positive review score as well. Blair Witch. I never played the game myself because I expected it to be very scary, so I watched the entire playthrough on YouTube. I really love watching horror games being played by people with way bigger balls than I have. So what can I say? Blair Witch is not a very scary game. It is dark and psychologically challenging, but the level of horror isn't very high. I could probably play it without much struggle. The game itself is quite linear, so don't expect much action. All you'll do here is hold the W key, sometimes relaxed and sometimes you will press way harder, depending on the situation of course. So basically it is a walking simulator with menacing and beautiful visuals. Anyway, the story starts in 1996. A young boy disappears in the forest, and you, a former police officer with a troubled past, join the search. What starts as an ordinary investigation soon turns into an endless nightmare as you confront your fears and the Blair Witch herself, a mysterious force that haunts the woods. Creepy but very fun. The Deadly Tower of Monsters. The game treats itself as a 1970s movie. That is not a joke, that is the whole concept of the game. It is filled with classic themes such as the daughter versus tyrant father, the planet full of innocent ape creatures, the dashing space-age liberator, the robot companion, or the tower full of treacherous mutations. As developers say, a timeless classic for all ages. So in general, this is an action-adventure sci-fi comedy game with dynamic narration set in a retro-futuristic environment. You can play it alone or together with your friends or mother-in-law on a shared or split screen. Game has full controller support and, honestly, full support of your poverty, because the price is more than friendly. Brutal Legend. This is the most metal game that exists in the entire universe, and if you like Jack Black, who is the main hero here, it's a must-play for you. I'm not kidding, it lacks only 1% to be in the overwhelmingly positive review range. So this is an action-adventure that marries combat with open-world freedom. Here you'll meet cover bands, demons intent on enslaving humanity, heavy metal tunes, and Ozzy Osbourne himself. So as I have mentioned before, here you'll play as Jack Black, as he embarks on a tour of epic destruction with an axe, a guitar and his minions. You will command the power of rock and awesomeness that will melt the face off your enemies. Also, the game is really funny and I mean it. Endless Legend. Here you will evolve your civilization through discovery and new advanced technologies. You will keep one step ahead of the other 8 civilizations by trade and diplomacy, or eradicate your puny enemies with the help of unit equipment, abilities and the terrain to overcome the challenges using your humongous IQ. The game has quite high replayability because of randomly generated worlds and quests. You can set the size, shape and topography of your new world and even create new civilizations. Also, all existing ones really differ from one another and have authentic mechanics. By the way, Endless Legend is not computer power hungry, it runs quite smoothly even if you have a potato PC that is below minimum requirements. People on Steam are saying that Endless Legend is a wonderful game with a great atmosphere, lore and mechanics, but it also eats your time in huge amounts, so be sure you have it. Senua Saga Hellblade 2. This is the sequel of the famous Hellblade Senua Sacrifice, where Senua returns to a journey of survival in Viking Iceland. As in the first part, here you will struggle to conquer the horrors of darkness by slaying puny enemies and by dealing with your own inner demons. The game has these almost photorealistic visuals, especially when you look at the faces. The expressions are amazing, every muscle moves as it should. You feel anger, pain, madness and of course hunger. For a good bowl of potato salad. I got you here, I know. So the story unravels in 10th century Iceland, which was recreated from real locations. So basically there is a tour somewhere in Iceland where you can visit all the spots, or if there isn't, that is a business opportunity, no doubt. Anyway, this is a psychological, horror-infused adventure with a deep and captivating story, stunning visuals and cinematics. Review score on Steam is close to 90%, so the sequel is definitely worth your attention. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Here you'll go after a rogue god over land and sea, captain your ship on a dangerous voyage of discovery across the vast unexplored archipelago region of the Deadfire. Also, have you noticed how all the names in fantasy games and books have some doomy and gloomy meaning?
Region of Deadfire, lands of crying souls, mountain of doom, sea of sorrow, forest of banshee screams,
and so on. Well, in the real world, all those places would probably have way less terrifying names given to them by locals, such as
Region of Rocks, Land of Dirt, the Volcano, Sea of Water, and Forest of Pedophiles.
yeah, this is an exception. Way more terrifying than Forest of Banshee Screams, to be fair. Don't go there for any reason. Anyway, all the names are way less poetic in the real world. So in Pillars of Eternity 2 you will bend the world to your will, as you explore the depths of infinite possibilities, including detailed character customization and total freedom of exploration. People on Steam comments are saying that the second part has more interesting quests and activities than the first one. Well, it's for you to judge. The Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes. Here, at the close of the Iraq War, special forces hunting for weapons of mass destruction unearth something far deadlier, a buried Sumerian temple containing a nest of creepy creatures. To survive the night below, they must forge a brotherhood with their enemies from the world above, and only your decisions will influence how the story will unfold. Basically, I can guarantee that nothing good will ever happen with you behind the wheel. Everyone will die horribly and you are the one to blame. But hey, that's the beauty of this game, you can replay it and make different, probably way worse decisions next time. LA Noire. This is a violent crime thriller that blends action with true detective work. You will search for clues, chase down suspects and interrogate witnesses as you struggle to find the truth in a city where everyone has something to hide. And when you try to unearth the sinister secrets, there is a huge chance that someone will try to silence you for good. During Hollywood's golden age, you play as LAPD detective thrown headfirst into a city drowning in its own success. Corruption is rampant, the drug trade is exploding and murder rates are at an all-time high. So in your fight to climb the ranks and do what's right, you must unravel the truth behind a string of arson attacks, racketeering conspiracies and brutal murders. People on Steam are saying that civilian casualties are just a part of the job, and the game itself is like a noir GTA 5. State of Decay Juggernaut Edition. This is an open-world survival game set just after the zombie apocalypse. Your small community of survivors seeks to rebuild a corner of civilization, and you get to make all the decisions about how that happens. So, knowing you, humanity is doomed, and it's all your fault. For those who are concerned, this is a single-player game with an option to play co-op. So, this is not some MMO or online shooter battle royale with zombies, no, this is a serious game with base building, RPG mechanics, and permanent death. Yeah, that doesn't sound cool, but believe me, it is very good for immersion. You won't be jogging around with your PP out, swinging left and right, you be careful and take the game seriously instead. You will decide who to recruit to your team, where to settle your community, how to fortify and upgrade your base. You will select which survivor to bring along on a scavenging run for the ammo or ingredients for delicious potato salad, and who you use to fight off the zombies attacking your base. People on Steam are saying that this game has probably the closest feeling to The Walking Dead show, and a very positive review score is a proof of that. And now, thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.